When did tiny travel monitors get this good? These are the NUX AXON 3, claiming to be a studio-grade reference monitor you can take anywhere. Two things that separate this from the rest of the compact desktop market: it actually comes with a custom travel case right in the box. Compare this to the IK Multimedia iLoud Micro. Those run about $299 in Amazon US, at least at the time of filming, and their official travel bag is another $100 over, putting you over $400 just to hit the road. This NUX package is all in. Second thing is the price. The entire package is about $249, and on paper, NUX actually pushes 90 watts of total power compared to the iLoud's 50 watts. Out of the box, this might be the best value travel monitor out there. Let's talk about it. Welcome back to Project Beats. My name is Jovan. Big thanks to NUX for sending this out for a review, but no money changed hands. They are not seeing this video before you guys do. All thoughts are 100% my own. If you want to grab one locally and you're in Singapore, you can drop by Ranking Sports and Music down at Bras Basah Complex. I'll also have links in the description if you want to dig into specs. Not gonna lie, at first I was actually a bit disappointed in these, and honestly I didn't really expect too much. And the first time I played music on them, I was getting all sorts of muddy, low-end build-up, and I was worried I wasn't gonna have anything good to say. But then I realized the problem: these speakers do not work well if you place them flat on a desk, like this, or what NUX is showing on their website. Then I thought, why not raise them up? So I put them on top of my main monitors, like you can see here. And there it is, sort of unlocked the actual sound and is surprisingly competent as a studio monitor. Music plays really well on these. So yeah, for placement on the desk, these magnetic foot pads they include, a bit useless in my opinion. The AXON 3 has a standard 3/8 inch threaded mount right at the bottom, so you can easily screw them onto mic stands. My suggestion: just get a short desk mic stand or set it up on a monitor platform. But in any case, in my opinion, it has to be raised. Jumping on to sound quality, it's a competent studio reference monitor in a tiny box. The tuning is more studio reference versus the Audio-Technica SP3X, which you can see here, the white small speaker. Obviously, that's made for hi-fi listening and enjoyment. I do personally enjoy listening music with the SP3X. If we're talking tiny speakers, is what I have at home, so that's going to be my immediate comparison. This NUX has that more familiar territory in terms of studio sound. Very much a utility studio work monitor, whereas the SP3X, of course, is sort of a hi-fi record player companion. The stock sound without tweaking actually leans warm. It's a little bit much for my taste, and mids and upper mids are very present and forward. It has an impressive vocal presentation though. There is a good low mid presence, impressive for its size. It can push some air and it hits you quite well. There is that upfront punch in the low mid. Of course, it's small, so when you want to hear that low end, you will be pushing up the volume, but then that also pushes everything in front of you. The best thing to me, sound-wise, is the wide imaging, especially for its size. and the decay and reverb tail sounds really good, almost tactile. Vocals are present and really forward without sounding nasally, which is a good thing. If you check Amazon reviews, not that it's always reliable, though in this case I feel that it is genuine feedback. The AXON 3 gets 5-star reviews. The common feedback is it sounds surprisingly good for the size and the price. I'm with them on this and I have no complaints. Another thing is it doesn't have that tiny speaker energy. Maybe a little bit, but I am surprised and almost wondering how they did that. Or maybe small speakers nowadays always sounded that good. I don't know. I haven't been into, the small speaker market, especially lately. But to sum it up, as far as my first impression, you can definitely use it for work. It is studio competent. It sounds like a real studio monitor. There are some limits to what physics and drivers can do, but in my opinion, this is as far as it goes in terms of drivers and DSP. Maybe you can extract a little bit more quality if you go for like something, more premium, but these are really solid tiny monitors. To my ears and preference, I'd like it to be a bit more open up top. Right now, I boosted the top end for about 2 dB. Then there is some excess energy or buildup in the low end that you might want to dial back. It gives you that low mid just enough for you to get a sense of what's going on in there. But I'm sure you won't be using these for like EDM mixes. It would pair really well though with a competent headphone, something that can give you a full image that this cannot give. And I think if you use that combination, NUX AXON 3 plus a really good headphone, then you can do some serious work with this. It has DAC built in. You can just connect your computer directly to it. There are tons of inputs and they also play all the time. Whether that's a good thing or bad thing is up to you. You cannot mute one output, at least no option for it as far as I can see in the AXON Studio app. One thing I can think of that it would be useful for, let's say you have it connected to a computer and you have your playback tracks there, then at the same time you connect an amp sim and you can practice that way. Speaking of which, you may or may not like this setup, but I tried it as a stereo speaker for my Spark Go. Where is it? Here. Having stereo speakers louder than this is of course nice, but then some of you might look for that guitar amp sound where there is more bite in the mids. But for me, I'm perfectly happy with this connected to the NUX AXON 3 as a stereo out. It has Bluetooth for convenience. You can also connect a CD player or record player, maybe streamer. Tons of options there. As far as music playback, of course, I like, my high-res lossless setup. So for high-res lossless music playback, I connected my phone to my Mojo 2 to one of the analog ins. Then I can have bit perfect switching, high-res lossless from Apple Music, because iOS and iPad OS can do that, but for some reason Mac OS still can't do bit perfect switching, which makes the Mac not very ideal for high-res lossless music listening unless you install like a lossless switcher, but then I think they improved it now, but there's still a little bit of lag sometimes. Sample rate switching and bitrate switching. Anyway, you can have high-res lossless music on that analog input, but when you have it also connected to your Mac via USB, then you can still hear whatever notification you have on your Mac. Another thing I like is that I can control the volume with the Mac volume keys on the keyboard. It's just quick and a bit more convenient than reaching out to your interface. Some of the quirks or things I notice: it maxes out at 48K in USB DAC mode. Then AXON Studio is fixed at 48K. You can't really do anything about that. And then the AXON Studio software is PEQ, but it's a little rudimentary. And everything is a bell curve even when the icon says shelf. You kind of have to do a bit of a workaround. You could bring the Q down so it affects a wider range, but still that's not true shelf. I wish there was an actual option to choose what type of curve to use. Also, I think it would be cool to have, basic measurement mic and correction built in the Studio app. Have a separate package of all that together, but then again, that's maybe asking too much. But now I'm thinking, with how small this is, if you are far enough from the walls, room correction probably isn't necessary. Just, trust your ears, I guess. Also, I'm not sure if it's my copy, but I hear a little bit of clipping occasionally. I'm hoping it's not the drivers, like maybe excursion limitations, and I wasn't even past the half gain knob. But if that's the case, then maybe they should have installed some type of limiter. Hopefully it's just something stupid I'm doing. I haven't measured and corrected for the room yet, but I will do a long-term review next time. Let me know if you guys have anything you want to know. I'll be doing some comparisons as well. But yeah, after just basic EQ correction to taste, of course, the mids are super punchy. The presence is engaging. It's not as lean compared to the SP3X. It has that strong bass and mid bass. I guess just mid bass. But the thing that really gets me every time is how wide the stereo imaging is and the separation. Bottom line, I'm happy to say it's a competent studio reference in a tiny travel-ready box that is also affordable. I can see this to be really good for you if you are on the move. Maybe you need to do hotel room mix, or maybe a backup monitor, AB monitor, tight room spaces, or if you're starting out and have limited budget. This would be perfect for you. Also for arrangers, mixers, hobbyists, or if you want a B monitor, this is probably the one to get. Just watch out for placement, touch of EQ to taste, you should be set. That's about it for this video. Consider subscribing. See you all in the next project.